Hello and welcome to our latest Luminar Neo editing session. Today we are going to be working with a photo that I took recently in Seoul Forest, and what I want to do with this photo is create a more moody and darker look, and it's an aesthetic that I've been seeing around recently. I quite like it, and what it means is I'm getting rid of bright green leaves and the bright blue sky. Instead I'm bringing in a more desaturated look, a more darker look, and to do that there are a few ways that we can achieve this, but for sure we are going to need to work with our separate color channels. So let's get started. So let's jump into the develop tool then, and we'll start with making this image a bit darker. So we'll bring down the exposure a touch, bring up that contrast, and then the highlights and the shadows, we'll bring those down as well to help us create this darker and moody look. We'll do the same with the blacks and the whites. There we go. All right, and then down to structure. And we'll add this, and this is going to help us bring out more detail within our image. There we go. All right, now usually I leave the color tool until last, but I'm going to use it here to help me start getting the look that I'm going for, especially with the tones in my leaves here, and a bit as well for the water. It's going to be probably quite subtle for now, but it will all come together in the end. Fingers crossed, of course. And let's do a before and after. You can see it's subtle, but hopefully you can see the sort of direction that I'm heading in. And we'll bring out those colors much more towards the end of the edit when we do the color grade. A vignette to help darken those corners, helping with that moody look. And then let's go down to matte. So another way to achieve this muted look is to add this matte tool, and it will help bring down the vividness of the colors in our image. So we're going to bring up an amount here, and we'll do the same with fade, but I don't know if I'm going to want the fade by the end. We'll leave it in for now. But another thing we can do is bring in some color toning as well. And I want this cyan tone to be more present in the image, especially in the leaves. So I can do that with this color tone curve, color tone tool rather. And with the saturation, I'm not going to want to add too much. We'll keep it as it is. That's looking good. All right, now let's go down to super contrast and work on our shadows, mids and highs separately. So this is just instead of adding contrast as a whole, you can use these channels separately to get a lot more control over your image and help balance it a lot better. And there we go, that's looking really good so far. All right, and then now we can start to work more on our color grade. So we'll see the temperature first, maybe a bit more of a warmer tone. We can do the same there with the split color warmth, and then now we can work on the balance. So with our shadows here, we'll bring in some cooler tones, and the same with the mids. So we're definitely leaning more towards cyan for this shot, yellow and blue, and a bit, not too much. And then onto the highlights. That's not looking too good, the yellow or blue, so I'm going to leave it as it is. We'll bring in some green, and then we'll do more cyan then for the highlights. Let's look at a before and after. I'm not too happy with the cloud there. Which tone is that? It's the green a bit as well. Yeah, that's looking better. All right, perfect. Okay. Now back up to color once again, and this is where we are going to tighten everything up and also make sure we got those tones right in the leaves and the sky. So hue shifting to begin with to get the correct tone. And yep, let's go down to saturation. Definitely desaturate the blues. I'm actually going to boost the cyan saturation just a bit to bring out those tones within the leaves, and then mute those greens even more by desaturating the green channel. And then the luminance will bring down the blue in the sky there because it's a bit too bright. And then the leaves, they don't need it. They're happy as they are. Let's look at before and after. You see a big difference there, especially with the sky. And then finally, I want to use the tone curve one more time. And then going to finish off with this tool. There are a few areas of the picture that I'm not quite happy with. So using this, yep, tightening it all up, looking a lot better, especially there in the clouds, in the reflection of the water. And let's look at a before and after. And that is a dramatic difference. And that is the look that I'm going for there, the muted colors in the leaves. And a whole darker, moodier image. That's looking good. Luminar Neo has so many ways to color grade your images. There we use the color tool, the color harmony tool, and the matte tool to help color grade our image, but there are actually even more for you to use. So go through them all and start to experiment and see what works for your shots. But that is all from me for now. I'll be back again very soon with some more Luminar Neo tips, tricks, and tutorials. So I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.